One show that I'll never forget, and I tell this story all the time. I'm sure a lot of people who are looking at this are going to remember the story. We had a guy, we used to call him the Angel of Death. He always dressed in all black. He worked for the show. He was a scout. He'd go all over the country, and probably all over Europe too, finding the weirdest things he could find to bring them on the Tonight Show and make it really different. Well, we never knew what he found because we never had rehearsals. You know, there was almost zero rehearsals there. Well, I'm back in the control room, and my board man Joe says, "Hey Marv, all the guys are getting out off the stage." And I said, "What?" They said, "There's no scenery on the stage, and they brought out this huge basket." He said it's about 4 feet high and about 3 feet wide. It's got a big lid on it. I said, "I don't know what it is." He said, "They're all the guys are coming up, climbing up the steps, getting off the stage." I look at the monitors and I see Steve is talking to the guy's wife. It's a Cobra Venom milking act. And his wife is talking to Steve and she's saying how her husband milks cobras, the venom, blah, blah. And that he just got out of the hospital because he was bit. But this is the first time that he's going to be doing the act. And Steve Allen was great at picking up on these things. He's rolling his eyes, and you didn't know whether to laugh or to cry because nobody knew what was going to happen. Well, we had 3 cameras on the stage and a small camera for Steve. They were all on the stage, and in the control room we could see that basket from every angle. And this little old guy comes out. He almost came staggering out. He couldn't even walk. It looked like he just got out of a hospital bed. And he's got this huge poker in his hand, this big stick thing. And everyone in the control room says, "Oh, what is that?" He walks over to the basket, and he flips the basket. And you know how Jack in the Box? This cobra went boom, straight up. That cobra had to be like 6 foot long, maybe more. And you could hear the audience go, "Oh!" In the control room, everybody jumped out of their seat. And on the air, you know, all the guys flipped at a longer lens because they were all pulling back. And the poor cameraman couldn't go beyond the lip of the stage, so they were stuck there. Now this guy is fighting to hold this cobra, which is now thrashing around the stage at the Hudson Theater. He's trying to hold the thing. And see, the close-up of this thing, it was an enormous snake, and an evil, vicious-looking snake. And the poor guy, and now the audience is starting to panic. Like the first 20 rows, people are starting to get up and start going out the aisles. I look around the control room, and everybody's up. I was up against the back wall, and we're in a glass control room at the back of the theater. And by some miracle, that snake didn't escape and get off that stage and kill half the people in the theater. The guy, by some miracle, managed to get it and get a glass and get the glass under the fangs, and that close-up shot was something I'll never forget. You see that venom just pouring out of that snake. And it never made the papers. That's NBC killed that whole story. Nobody ever knew what happened. But I'll never forget that cobra. That's the one thing I remember with Steve Allen Show, anytime we talk about it, that nobody was killed that night. Memos go out that you want to get rid of the Angel of Death, Sam. I think his name was Holmes. Sam Holmes. Just get rid of him. Never to have any animal or snake acts on the show ever again on the Tonight Show. And he meant it. But that's what happened. Live, no rehearsal.
Bamberg is decided to have a Thanksgiving Day parade Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. And Bob McCorkle was the display director, a good friend of mine. He called me up. He said, "Sonny, I need your help." I said, "Are you going to be on television?" Oh, he said, "Oh yeah, ABC is televising us." I said, "Great, then you need a TV lighting director."
And I decided we were going to do changing floats. So what happened, I had to get a stagehand and rig a cart to work right behind each float. And the stagehand walked and turned the dimmer on and off. He turned the regular colored lights up, which washed out the UV light, which was always on the floats. And you'd have one scene. And then every 3, 4, 5 minutes, he'd fade down the regular lights, so all the colored lights go out. And now just the ultraviolet, so it would just change all the stuff that was painted in invisible ultraviolet light. and it got a lot of good press. I got a lot of jobs after that, freelance jobs.
As a matter of fact, now that I think of it, that SOB, Marvin, never gave me my commission. He owes me 20%. Hey, Marvin, I want to check, no, cash, $700.
Finally, it reached a point where I had about 9 years of TV, and I was starting to do some outside consulting work, and I wanted to do more. And I really felt it wasn't as much fun as it used to be anymore. And I asked NBC for leave of absence. And I said, I want to go to Europe, check out TV and theater in Europe, check out lighting techniques, and spend, a year or two. They were horrified. They said, nobody asks for a leave of absence here. Everybody tries to get in here. So I thought about it, and I left. I resigned. And I did go to Europe. Had a great time. I formed Lighting Services Inc. In 1958 when I left NBC. And at that time, our motto was everything in lighting from design to installation.
I was referred to someone I had never heard of called Marvin Gelman. He said, come in and talk to me. Our address is at 77 Park Avenue, New York City. And I thought that was rather grand.
They went into 77 Park Avenue, but it was a wonderful prestige address.
The Griffin Hotel, 39th and Park, and I'm looking for the office. and this guy Barney turns around the doorman. It's like a hotel, like a residential hotel. This guy Barney says, well, you gotta go around the corner. So I go around the corner, I look, it's an alley.
Went down an alley and up some steps and across a flat place and down some steps into this funny little office buried inside this building, and everybody was there rubbing up against each other because it was a little tiny place.
The fact was they were in the basement. You kind of had to go in the back door past the garbage cans, and there was a big gate that was locked at night, and that took you into Lighting Services International Headquarters. But boy, the address was wonderful.
I'll reveal a secret. We started Lighting Services Inc. with $400 each, my partner and I. That was it. Or maybe it was $200 each. I don't remember which one. That was our capital. At one time, after the first couple of years, our accountants from Rockland County, where the plant was, said, by this time my partner had left too, they said, Marv, you're not really making any money here. Maybe you ought to bag it. I was shocked. I said, bag it? What? I refused to bag it. This was what I wanted to do, lighting. So I changed accountants. I bagged them, and here we are today. We're a good, solid firm. We, from day one, when we became manufacturers, we decided we want to be the best in the business, that we weren't going to make simple, cheap stuff. And that's been our reputation, the best. And I think Daniel is continuing that tradition. We won a gold medal award for doing the International Flower Show, Lighting Services. We convinced the director of the show to change the entire flower show from day lighting to night lighting, like every half hour. And they bought it, and the board of directors bought it, and it was a big jump for them to do something like that. And we came in and we really did a bang-up job with lots of colored lights, lots of color, cross-fading. And what would happen, you'd be there, and we figured the average person in flowers is going to be there at least an hour. And half that time they'd see daytime, and suddenly it's nighttime with moonlighting and special effects. And it really was something, and everybody was amazed that it could be done. It was never done before. And we were surprised to get a gold medal award from the board of directors. They thought so highly of it. We got a lot of good PR. So Lighting Services was beginning to get a name around New York. As we built the manufacturing, we continued to build the design until we finally, I think, reached a point where the only design we do is in-house design for anybody who needed using our equipment. We did not want to compete with the lighting consultants or the lighting engineers. So we stopped that many years back.
He did windows. That's where he first started in this business. in his present business. He designed lighting to do. I remember one of the stores was Bendel's. He went into Bendel's and told him, "I can make your products look much better. What you put in the windows, they look like shit." And he said, "I can make it look better."
That sort of lighting hadn't really made its way either backwards into the theater from which it had emanated, or forward into architecture, which it was about to do.
Brought theatrical techniques over into display lighting. So I would deal with the display directors of all the major stores, not only in New York, around the country, and they began to start using color and learning about color filters and how to do accent lighting and using track so you have the flexibility of changing lights at any time, adding new lights, moving them around. He gave Tiffany windows a worldwide reputation. When you talk about miniature windows beautifully designed and lit, everybody says Tiffany windows, Gene Moore. He had the knack of looking at a window or conceiving of a window first, the design, then executing it, and then in the lighting he'd come outside the store. It was always done at night, and many times I meet him there, and we'd look at the window, and he's one of the few people who never said, "What do I do? What's wrong with it?" He knew by looking at the window. He said, "We've got to get a little more pink accent lighting over here." I didn't light his windows for him. I was the manufacturer. And when he was designing the window setups without anything in them, we worked together on what he needs in the window to do all these things. But once he was doing his window, his design, he didn't need any advice from me or anybody else. He knew. He'd look at the window and say, "No, no." And he'd signal to Ronnie, his assistant at that time, or go back in, and he'd either move something or they'd add some color, and he'd come out again, and he said, "That's it." And I always agreed with him. He knew. He was terrific.